Everyone, this is the second tutorial for the fast routes to greens. This is the improvement on the previous route that I shared in my last video. This is a method to save 2 seconds on the total time that it takes to get past the green platforms overhead, and it requires learning a new jump tech called high jumps. I'm going to start off by just doing a run through of the route like I did in my last video. It's the same concept. We're going to start our run based on the paleo clock in the top right. The difference here is that we're going to delay the run by an additional 2 seconds. So instead of 4 plus 1, we're going to do 4 plus 2, or 4:06 is when we'll start this run. By delaying these 2 seconds, we're effectively letting the cycle advance 2 seconds further. We start, and we save that time by moving through the bouldering section a little bit more aggressively. And the final result is that we arrive at the green platforms at the same time as if we didn't delay that 2 seconds at the start. Difference here, so the wall is too far to go to the right, so we're going to sneak into the left behind it, do a little bit more precarious jumping across the furniture field here. Then we're going to start doing some high jumps in this bouldering section because we need to save our stamina. So there's 2 high jumps and a normal jump. We ignore this boulder here. Another 2 high jumps and a normal jump. Ignore this one. Mantle. Jump. Jumps. Just barely make this one. High jump. Wait. And then this is going to be 3 high jumps. And a normal jump. And then the same as the last route applies here. We're looking to get to this next wall just as it passes in front of us. And if we did this correctly, we're at the exact right time to meet this green platform as it reaches the book dais right here. And then you should land about 2 and maybe a few more seconds on the other side. So we landed around 127, 128 here. The other route gets you here at 130. So it's a relatively marginal difference. The reason why I call this selling your soul to the devil is because these long jumps are considerably more tricky. The other route is way more consistent. It's much easier to just grind out and do run after run. And with so much randomness higher up the tower, a lot of times it won't be worth it. You can get a lot of time improvements just by getting better cycles on the green and blue platform sections, for example. But if you really want to push it to the limit, this is the way to do the opener. Let me talk now a little bit about what the high jump is. So you see that I bound my X button here on my little keyboard overlay. The X button is the button that lets you let go of the wall. So what we're going to do in order to do a high jump is as we jump upwards, immediately after we jump upwards, we're going to also hit the X button to let go of the wall. And that's going to allow our jumping momentum to carry us that little bit higher. You see that we go like an extra about half a body length higher than what we do when we normally jump. The real tricky part about this one is that there is a relatively punishing window for when you can re-grab the wall. So after you do this initial jump and let go, you have to hit glide to re-grab the wall. However, if you hit it too soon, you're not going to grab it. And if you hit it too late, you're just going to pull your glider out and you're not going to grab the wall. And so we use a little visual trick in order to time when we hit spacebar that second time in order to re-grab the wall. What we're going to do is focus on the character's arms. We see when we jump up, there's that moment where the character's arms are above his head, and then he's going to bring them down to his side around shoulder level. You see where they kind of like snap back, his elbows kind of flare backwards. If you time the second space to that, you get a pretty consistent re-grab. Okay, so this one more time. Watch the elbows. You jump backs, jump, jump backs, jump, jump. Those 2 long jumps in this section. And just to give you a comparison for what it's doing for our stamina, this is normal jumping up. See, I have maybe about 20% there. 20% stamina, enough for one more jump. Whereas if I do long jumps, I have about 40% stamina, so enough for 2 more jumps. And that's very important because as we go through this section, we're barely going to recover our stamina to get to this part. 2 long jumps here. Watch the elbows. Skip this rock. Mantle. Just run out of stamina there. And then if you do everything right, you're just barely going to hit this rock. You can do 1 long jump here, and then you're going to have just enough stamina through this part to do another 3 long jumps and a normal jump to get up to the top of that middle pillar. Some visual cues that you'll have that you're doing this run correctly. So we leave at, remember, even, so 4 plus 2, so we leave at 610. The first thing that you're going to be looking for is where this arm is as it swings past you on the field of furniture. There's a green table that it swings over as you approach. And you're doing well if it's kind of tight for you to get around the wall here. This means I have a lot of wiggle room to continue this cycle. The next thing that I'm going to do to check to make sure that I'm on pace is I'm going to look for this spinning rock up ahead. I messed this up already. I'm going to look at the spinning rock ahead, and if I can see the bottom of it as I come up here, so you see as it comes down, if I can catch a glimpse at the bottom part of the rock as it rotates out of view, that means I'm additionally on a good pace to hit the next cycle. Then as I come up here, you have to jump this part very quickly because this is going to be rotating up and you have only a very small time frame to jump on it and then jump off to this next rock. This is often going to be where this run fails, assuming that you don't mess up one of the long jumps down here. But if any of your movement is too inefficient, you're going to come up here and then you're going to try to jump on this and then you're just going to kind of scoot off of it. This is going to be like the make or break point. If you can manage to get to this point, get on top of this rock, get a quick jump, high jump and grab this ledge, the rest of this is pretty straightforward to what you're used to doing. 3 long jumps, 1 normal jump gets you up here. I had more stamina than what you usually do. But that is the improved route to greens. It saves you about 2 seconds at the cost of doing a lot of these kind of finicky high jumps to get all the way up there on perfect stamina. All of the normal bouldering things still apply, so you see that I'm going on the right side here to avoid this. I do the jump here, and I do the diagonal jumps accordingly to the boulders. Just a slightly faster timing. And the delay at the start also applies, like I said in the previous video. So as an example, when I did that last demonstration run through, this wall was very much over that green table when I came by. So if I feel like I can get to that wall with some time to spare, I'll back up off the line and start from, say, about here. So I'll leave at 7:18 here, effectively delaying the start of my run by about half a second, which means that the wall has another half a second to swing before I get to it. And then if I run through this part smoothly enough, I'm not going to get it. If you run through this part smoothly enough, that wall would be a little bit better position for you to just kind of squeeze in right behind it, allowing you to have a slightly more optimized run. Save a little bit more than 2 seconds. And that's it. Hopefully that all made sense. I'm looking forward to seeing some people put up new times using these routes, and see you on the leaderboard.